our society, I don't mind, it's not mine. I'm not part of this, I don't care. We don't care about the next person. And that's the whole thing that will break down the society in its whole. Because we don't care. It's not my problem, I don't want to be part of this problem, so I withdraw from it. I know about it, but I won't report it.
If more people is open and in our society, as Warren of Salapan said, and don't look away from the fact there is problems, because some children, they are so, on schools, they don't care. If you go that one mommy, it's a girl. The girl is 13 years old. She went Thursday to school. She never came back. She only came home last night, past 11. I asked her, where were you the whole time? Now by my friend's house. Now how can some parents allow other children to stay all the time there? And then some mother saying that child was smelling of liquor when she got home last night. And most of the time there's sexual rapes coming in there, because there's shacks at the backyards, and then they got boyfriends there. And they do everything, there's occup pipes, they tuck everything.
I don't know if Anita told you that our youngest one was 7 years old. It was on tuck. What we discovered now, the youngest is 5 years old. That's on drugs. 5 years old.
And they do with the tuck, what they are doing, they melt it in a liquid form. Then they put it on a lolly. And that is also where this comes to the youngest ones. They won't smoke it with that lolly, the normal lolly that the adults is using it. They put it on the sweet. Dump it in the sweet, and then the children is going on that. That's why I'm saying our parents really, there's so lot of things that our children being exploited to nowadays, that you must be scared as a parent. You can't even take a chance and say, no, my child is going to sleep over for a weekend at a friend's house. You can't take that chances anymore, because the children is doing all this funny things.
Ik het al hoeveel vrienden van mij wat mij kom sê waar sien hulle hom, waar koop hy die tik. Men dat tik verkoop. Het my al genader. En vir my gesê, ek het jou lyfie weggegaan. Ek was al op 'n stadium om selfmoord te pleeg. Vraag myself, hoe moet ek dit doen? Ek verwoes mos nie my lewe. Is hy wat hom lewe verwoes.
En hoe oud is hy nou weer?
Hy's 15.
Soms het ons miskien in die huis net ons 'n broodwinner. Maar dit wat die geld wat hy kry net word gemaak uit jou gangsteraktiwiteite. Nou die klein laaitjie wat in die huis groot raak, né? Die crime raak vir hom soos 'n uitweg. Die geld wat hy inkry, wat die criminal activities uitkom, né, word gebruik vir brood en hy. So nou is die crime raak vir hom iets om na te achieve. En dan raak het so 'n cycle. Dit raak 'n winkelkring van jy onmiddellik wil jy ook nou crime doen sodat jy ook miskien vir die huis kan sorg. En die eindresult van hy gaan as jy gaan 'n drop-out raak of jy gaan aan jou criminal activities, jy gaan dood of jy gaan tronk toe. So die cycle moet gebreek word.
Nowadays people don't even know their neighbors. They don't know what's their neighbor's name. They don't know the children next door. And we need to get back to a place where we realize that, hey, life is too short to live in bitterness and unforgiveness. We need to learn to forgive one another, irrespective of the past, what we have done, what was committed, and we just need to just love one another. Man. God has died a gruesome death so that we may live and we might have life, and life in abundance. And one way is to show others love. And by doing that, smiling, just telling that, hey, you look good today, man. Don't look so bad. Don't look so sad. You look good. God loves you. And just carry on doing good. The Bible says, keep on doing good, irrespective of what other people's gonna say.
I myself, I was a gangster. I went to prison for murder. I spent 15 years in prison. I was 19 years. When I went in, I got out of prison at the age of 35. And I've learned a lot in prison, you know, among gangsters and how they operate and the lifestyles. And the doctrine in a lifestyle of a gangster is crime. And my part in this documentary is to show people that you can change. It's only a choice. You understand? When I made the choice in prison, in a maximum facility, to accept God in my life, He changed my life from that day on, and He's still doing it every day. And He has changed so many things inside of me. First of all, He said that my mind must be renewed so that I can learn what is His will, good, perfect and pleasing will. So as I am learning His will every day by being obedient to God and serving Him and loving people and loving myself and loving Him, you know, and stand up to the standards that He creates in the life that I've chosen. And it's to show people that, you know, no one can go back in life and change their lives, but anyone can stop today and make a brand new ending in his life with God. And, you know, to come back on this point, you know, of a color, you know, when people look at me, they say, hello, meneer. Some of them think I'm white. You understand? Because I'm light of complexion. My wife is white, and I also stay in a white area. But it's not about that anymore. It's about the standards, you know. When you look at an unborn child, still there in the womb of his mother, the father will say, my son is going to be a doctor. The dad has desires, the mother has desires. They're already speaking words into their child's life. Now when that child is born into this world, it's up to the parents to raise their child. And that child needs food, he needs love, he needs attention, he needs parents. But if you can't put all these characteristics into their child, how will that child be able to give to other people? You understand? So it's important today that we must go back and search ourselves and acknowledge the mistakes that we as men and women do in the society, and stop complaining about the race and all those things. In the apartheid era, it was about color, it was about black, it was about white, into the prisons also. So today it's about searching yourself and asking yourself, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right things? And am I choosing the right ways of doing things for my children? Am I teaching them properly? Because I work at schools, I'm a life skills facilitator, I've got a youth club in Shorter, I've got a reintegration program with ex-convicts, and these are people, you know, they are just people. And they come from families and they have committed crimes, they've done their time, but they need a second chance. And God says we must love all people and we must live in peace with all people so that we can see His face.
Come on now.
So it's not about, you know, we must start blaming the circumstances and blaming the past for things. That has to stop, because when we believe in that, things won't change.
Come on.
Now, as an individual, I believe that by doing the work that I'm doing, it's a calling from God. And I know that I can't change the world, but God is the one who can. And it's only for me to persevere every day, go out and spread the good news in the areas where I go. Because I work in areas where you see people with firearms, you see people selling drugs, and you understand. But I see them through the eyes of God. I don't see them with eyes that judges them. You understand? But because when you look at me, I'm full of tattoos. You understand? Up until today, there's still people, when they see me, there's a response. But that's natural. That's just being human. But it's how I respond. Because I believe when people respond negative towards me, I have something that I can give them that will change that response in them.
The problem arises when you see a lot of people in our community tend to look at themselves as not being worthy. And we can go back into our history, etc. And we see how very often we try and dress it up. You try and buy your kids expensive clothes and name brands, etc., etc., so that they can be in fashion, so that they're not out, because we're trying to compensate for something which lacks on a deeper spiritual level, man. And that is, we were all created unique. We were all created in God's image. We were all created with, you know, a bigger plan. But often we have a tendency in our communities as well, where as soon as someone rises above his circumstances, we try and pull him down. And it's not because we are horrible and nasty, it's more because sometimes we don't want to be reminded that it's possible, because it takes hard work, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of commitment. I mean, who would think that a colored boy from the first stop in Shorter can go out and make a film, or, you know, do work like with TV or that kind of a thing? But it's possible. It's just about a change of mindset, about thinking that, listen, there's no limit to the potential that is locked within us, man.
Sometimes we take for granted that those who are close to us could be taken from us in a twinkling of an eye. So let me just remind you that we don't know what tomorrow holds. So the words, I love you.
Onrechtvaardig op iemand weg te vat van my af.
Hoekom?
Nee, reg.
How are you doing? I'm Ashwin Willemse, Springbok rugby player, and just want to say that yes, the program initiative Endangered Species is directly aimed at the youth. I think to a large extent we talk about wildlife, we talk about the sea world, and we talk about all the endangered animals out there, and we do a lot as far as the rhinos, everything is concerned, to assist to sort of safeguard our endangered species. I think this initiative is directly aimed at doing that for our youth, who ultimately will be the future leaders of tomorrow. Now, I know where you all might be, it's a tough place, and yes, I think to a large extent crime and gangsterism, that is an expression, it's a void, it is a place where you feel safe and where you belong. Therefore, I believe that, you know, if you change your focus, your mindset and your outlook on life, then maybe, just maybe, you know, you can apply yourself in the same way, but in a more constructive manner. Doing something, for example, like what I have done, playing rugby, playing sports, belonging to a group where you know there is sustainability, you know that what you're doing is helping to develop yourself and also the life of others. There's a lot of future out there, and there's a lot of opportunities out there, and therefore I believe that, you know, just keep the faith, keep on believing, and try and make sure that you are the difference for yourself and also for the rest of your community, for your family. Being part of a gang and doing criminal activities will either take you one of two places. You can either go to the graveyard or to prison.
We need change, rearrange our minds to a place on our knees. Mama, please, we all need change. We need change, rearrange.
Mens kan nie eens laat, daar is uit de klok in die straat en staan en skiet hulle gun. Is bang om dood te gaan nie. Vrees.
Ik zie je staan met stoeken, dat stoeken staan niet meer.
Nee, is my naam die. Tomo die hond.
Voor wat wil je met de hond versier worden? Je is je hond.
Ek is je hond, ek is een mens, ja.
Voor wat wil je zeggen zo hond?
Kom, ek wil sê ek is een hond, want ek is die enigste persoon wat so na een gannetjie staan. Ek fight my ding met die handen, nie met gannen.
Is jy gangster?
Nee.
Voor wat beklei je?
Nee, ek beklei niks, ek beklei die wat my seer maak. Ja.
Hoe ben je in die area?
Zo, hoe is dat veel? Ik kan niet eens meer zeggen, hij zei ene niet, hij zei ene. Nee, is de klomp wat hij is.
Is je bang om dood te gaan?
Ja, ik is bang om dood te gaan, ja. Want er worden baie mensen onnodig doodgeskiet.
Of ongeveer iemand doodgeskiet?
Zo.
Weer het?
Ah.
En die boer niet op?
Die boer. Weet je van, mas wat ik wil zeggen.
Wat maak je nu zelf? Hoe werk je in die school? Waar
Ik-
jou leren?
Ja, ik zoek naar werk. Ik wil niet die snaaks op het hoofd en goed is zoals hij van. Zoek naar werk. En ik reeds nou zo 10 CV's gemaakt om in te vatten.